that time of the T20 World Cup tournament when the boys are separated from the men. And if you think Uncle Sam has made a faux pas, well, no, actually it is not, because actually it's a young man's tournament, and here the boys are separated from the men, and it's the business end of the tournament. We promised we'll do a curtain raiser before the Super 8s. And joining me today, a very, very popular guest who had come for the curtain raiser before the T20 World Cup, Arya Khandelwal. Thank you so much for doing
Thank
this
you.
again.
Thank you, Samirji, for
You,
having me again.
you
I made
stuck
it.
you stuck to your word, and despite family commitments today and you know a toothache, right? But you've come.
Yeah, I'm good now. I'm
Yeah,
good
yeah,
now.
excellent,
Always happy to be here.
excellent. The team treated you well.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's sincere team otherwise,
they are.
and like me, they also take credit for things. After what we did with you, it became very popular. They gave me a gift. Do you want to see what gift it is?
Please.
It's a comb. So let's get started. T20 World Cup, round 8. Yeah. So, uh,
Associate Nations, big
Associate
thing. Yeah,
Nations,
let's
you had to
start
bring
with
it in.
yeah,
Yes.
let's start
Yes.
with
Yeah.
Associate Nations and their performance.
Yes.
Last time I asked you a question if IPL could be if T20 World Cup could
Yes.
be as exciting as IPL, and here we are. We've seen a lot happening in T20.
Yes.
What do you have to say about Associate
No,
Nations?
I stand corrected. Italy has surprised me.
Yes.
Maybe it's something to tell India for times to come. Maybe we start taking Italian cricket and Rahul Gandhi more seriously. I mean, I don't mean anything wrong in that, but they really played well. But the team that I want to watch out for is Nepal, because I think cricket is organic to that country, and they were fantastic. Little more consistency, they would have probably knocked at the Super 8s, which would have been a great, great achievement. But that's a team to look out for. The European teams are pretty disciplined. So, I took a snide remark at Abhishek Bachchan also about, because of that European E20 that whatever they are conducting. But yes, maybe cricket will be global. I hope they play more amongst themselves and build their skills to basically be more competitive
Correct.
at world stage level. But it was fun watching teams like Italy, Nepal, but Netherlands has been there before. These were the two revelations for
Correct,
me.
correct,
Yeah,
correct.
so
And Nepal almost had a chance to beat
almost
um,
England.
England.
So they almost beat England, and they had a bad day against Italy. They should
Correct.
have won that match.
Mm-hmm.
If they had done that, and they played magnificently against Scotland, if that had happened, they would have been in the Super Eights, and what an achievement that would have been, right?
So we always start our podcast with everything that's happening or has happened, current affairs and everything. Um, the big thing that we need to talk about, not so big,
Yeah.
India Pakistan match or mismatch. Everybody wants answering this. They have been questioning, was it a match or a mismatch? Was the hype for the views as they gained the maximum views till date for India Pakistan match? So was it for the hype, or they had a match there, or what was it?
See, I'll tell you one thing. Pakistan is a good team. Their players were talented, they will be talented. But as a team, are they competitive against India? No. And the reason for that is because their obsession with India. And some of our fans also are obsessed with the Pakistan match. You need to treat it as another match because it's not as hyped as before. And Pakistan's policy lies in the fact that they're too obsessed with India and with beating India. And in that, they put too much pressure on their own players. I understand that cricket geopolitics cannot be separated, but that you know, administrator that they have in Moshin Naqvi, I haven't seen an incorrigible fellow like that before, and it's harming his own nation's cricket. I hope some of the people in that nation stand up, and because they deserve better. I have a lot of time for Pakistani cricket. I will, when you ask me, because we are going to look at probables at the semi-final stage. And about Pakistan, I have something surprising. As we record this today, Pakistan plays a big match against New
New
Zealand.
Zealand.
Based after this, I will be able to formulate my theory better. But I have a prophecy about how Pakistan is going to go further in this tournament. And I hope their fans also realize that it's not only about them playing India; it's a World Cup, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Coming from Pakistan and India match, Hardik Pandya was known for his no-look shots. Now he's known for no-look wicket also. If you've seen that moment, it's trending everywhere.
Yeah, yeah,
So something related to it. Does attitude and character, having a character or attitude, work
Yes.
for modern cricketers? And that moment.
As long as it comes naturally to you, you know. And I hope my South Indian fans don't take objection to this. But do you remember Shrishant all those years back doing that aggressive things? It's there's something about the Punjabi players, you know, when they play against each other, Pakistanis, Indians, they have a go at each other, and that aggressiveness is there. And everyone has that aggressiveness. But Anil Kumble did it differently and this thing. So a lot of the guys, when Shrishant used to do it, they would call it sambar aggression, and, which is like an unnatural way of showing aggression. Aggression can be shown in, and it comes naturally to certain players. Steve Waugh was one of the most aggressive players and one of the most meanest players on the field. He could have a go at you, you know, and you would not even realize that. That is what is aggression. But sometimes if they're doing it for television or something, that's different. But I think Hardik has that natural personality about him.
And it
I
works.
think
It works for
it
him.
comes naturally to him.
Yeah.
It's not a put on. It's an actual this thing.
Talking about character now that we know character in
No, I have to stop you here. And
please,
these
please.
are the nice questions that you raise, because this is bringing a whole new perspective to our. No, I mean it seriously.
Thank you.
Because otherwise, it was very vanilla kind of discussions that we were having. And that's the feedback that even I have received. So thank you so much for bringing this perspective, because it's a young people's medium. Some of us oldies are learning at it. And I'm so, in a serious note, I'm very happy that we had you at the Inner Athlete podcast, because it's bringing a whole new perspective of how content should be. So thank you so much.
I am thankful to you as well, because you let me ask these. You've never
No.
constrained me or asked me
Yes.
to ask specific things, and I'm very glad that I
Even
can.
producer was happy. She said, finally you're on track after 3 months.
Talking
Yeah,
about
so I
talking
stopped
about
you.
character again.
Yeah,
Character and attitude works for Hardik Pandya maybe.
Yes.
Uh, Abhishek Sharma,
Yeah.
do you think when a cricketer has that character working for him, that attitude working for him, does that thing, that image of yourself in your head, uh, restrain you from trying something different? Just like Abhishek Sharma, past 3 matches, he's
Yeah.
trying to hit the very first ball, and the commentators and the professional ones are saying he should at least take a single, start with a single. But
Yes.
he's
I agree.
past 3 matches, he's continuously trying to hit the very first ball. So it is working for Hardik Pandya, but for the time at least, it's not working for Abhishek Sharma, it seems.
It's something we discussed last time. It created a little bit of shock value when I told you, when you were asking me about trends in T20 and how it has evolved, and I told you Sachin and Virat will not make it to this T20
Correct.
team, and there is a flip to it also, right?
Okay.
The way these guys play carefree cricket and all. What would a Sachin or a Virat do? Anybody can get 2 zeros, and I think Abhishek needs to do that. He's far greater batsman. He just needs to play 1 over out, right? We discussed the OG of all time in T20, Chris Gayle. He
Correct.
never went there blitzkrieg all out.
Correct.
Gale took his own time, and that's why he was the king. He was the emperor, the universal boss, because he bossed. He decided his time, when he's going to attack, when he's not going to attack. I think, but let's not fret over it. But there is something called momentum in T20 cricket. He needs to take a little bit of time, I think, because it's natural. It's going to play on his mind. And how much is it? The first score, he just has to score a single, right?
Correct.
And he can waste that many deliveries for this team, because if he survives there for 5 overs, he's is doing the match a big favor in terms of for India.
Correct. Another attitude, good attitude from our Indian captain Surya Kumar Yadav. Before India and Pakistan match, he was making the players bowl like Usman Tariq. He was bowling like Usman Tariq and making them practice the bowling. So great attitude from Surya Kumar Yadav. And now looking at the matches, watching those matches, do you think teams are looking for data and depending on those data and stats planning for the match more than skills, more than talent, more than right decisions? They are relying on new softwares maybe or new technology that has come in,
It's
and
an
they're
aid.
analyzing player on some data level.
It's an aid. It's an aid that every team, every player uses. And cricket was this fine game of balance between individual skills and a team sport, especially in the longer format.
Correct.
It shrunk a little bit in the ODI format. In T20, it's almost become football like, right? Everyone is given a role play and everyone is doing their own stuff. So, yes, so and when you are doing role play and when you are doing that, you are going to take data out. And these players, since a young age, are being fed with data and it's part of their training process. So it's become the norm now. So you can't just base your cricket on natural flair.
Correct.
And that's where a team like Pakistan, which was once one of the prominent teams, is not prominent because I don't think they give data analysis that much importance. They rely a lot on natural flair.
They give warm up sessions a lot of priority. Recently, one of the videos of Pakistan cricket
Yeah.
warming up. Have you seen that video?
No, I haven't.
It is more like contemporary dance. You should. I'll show you after the shoot. It is hilarious. It is trending also.
But because of my opinion and this thing, you named Usman Tariq. All right. And I think Usman Tariq has won a few fans in India, has given such a refreshing take. Uh, in a press conference, he was asked who inspired. He's had a break and has come back to cricket. He was asked who's the guy who inspired him the most. Who did he name? He named MS Dhoni.
Thala for a reason.
So that shows you that if you don't put that pressure on these players, that's why I have done a few videos, and it's my strong. And you see what Sunil Gavaskar did in writing a letter to the Pakistani establishment to treat Imran Khan with dignity, and that will show you that why moving forward, even Indian cricket will need to treat Pakistani cricketers separate from the Pakistani establishment. And it's part of my one of my podcasts that I have to do after you on cricket strategy and sports strategy as such. So I'm sure you're going to view that, and then next time you come, you ask me whether my opinion was fine or not. But Usman Tariq has done that. I'm sure we were all talking about his dodgy action. I too was a little critical about it, but very refreshing take. He didn't have an anti-India stance, which is something that their players should also understand.
Correct.
If you are not hostile, then India is a great country. They will accept you. So I think for Usman Tariq, thumbs up. He's a refreshing cricketer, and he will do well in this World Cup as we move forward. He did well against India too. Though you say Surya Kumar Yadav did stuff, but first he should start shaking hands. But my personal opinion.
I also feel it should be done. I mean,
he's now stuck in his own image.
There are rumors, I would say, or I've seen Indian.
See, it's ironical. Every legend goes and hugs each other. Shaz and Vyas must be,
the same match,
cracking the same jokes behind. And what is this?
the very match. Rohit Sharma met Wasim Akram and shook hands with him. It should be there.
Yeah, you should just tell him befriend somebody so that at least one of these players goes and Usman Tariq se jo cup churaya wo hamara वापस लेके आए Asia Cup का.
With that match, congratulations to Hardik Pandya also, being the first Indian all-rounder to score 6,000 runs and 200 wickets as well. So congratulations to Hardik Pandya. Again, amazing match happened between Afghanistan and South Africa. Double super over.
Match of the tournament.
Yeah, match of the tournament. What do you feel about that match, Afghanistan cricket? And another question, the last question, is anything else that could be done if there's a super over tie, if the super over itself has it is a tie. So can we do anything else than going to second super over like it used to happen? Coin toss, boundary calculation, bowl outs. So what is your thought
No,
about it?
it's a nice thing, isn't it? It just adds to the means
Thrill.
thrill,
Yeah.
right? And you're not doing it on chance. You're not doing it with a
Correct.
coin.
Correct.
You're not doing it based on boundaries scored earlier.
Correct.
It comes down to contemporary time
Correct.
where you have to perform.
Correct.
And I don't know. Surprisingly, it happened also at the 2019 World Cup, right? England, New Zealand. Same thing happened. The super over happened twice, and it was wonderful. So I think. Earlier they had another format, right? The first 2007 when we won the World Cup, they used to have a bowl out.
Correct,
And this makes it, this is a little better.
Better, it is.
I think no harm. You asked me about Afghanistan cricket.
Yes.
It's an underperformance, but in a good way. That's because they've done all the hard work so far. Now people are expecting them to knock on the doors of, the Super 8s,
Yes.
etc., which is a very good thing. I want Nepal to be that in the next 4-5 years. And yes, sometimes in these tournaments, things don't go according to you. They were in the toughest group. They played against two very good rivals in
Right.
South Africa and New Zealand.
Right.
And taking South Africa, which almost, if India has a hiccup, it is South Africa now. Means in terms of, the roadblock, one of the biggest challenges, I
Right,
don't mean hiccup, I mean a roadblock, it has to be South Africa, right? And they took them to the wire, absolutely to the wire. So it's good, but they'll have to create, one step more and they'll be contenders. At the moment, they are competitors and very good competitors at that.
Correct.
So good enough.
I called them. I disagree with my calling Afghanistan cricket as penny stocks. They are not. At
I
all.
made an opinion on you. I thought you are one of the Satoris who buys penny stocks.
No.
Penny stocks are to be avoided. No, but I knew it was what you are trying to tell me was it's a small cap. Which,
Correct. Yeah.
Because you said that it needs investments.
The only point was that I thought they're very underrated, but they're not. But they should be classified as a small or
small
mid
cap, which will
at
grow,
least. Yes.
It's a trajectory.
After seeing that double over, super over match, definitely South Africa. I mean,
So taking on to that, Arya, if I can give a composite to our audience, right? So what I and Arya were discussing offline also, and what we feel is basically if we have to classify how the teams, we had done a classification of how the teams are based on what we expect in terms of their performance. So we'll tell you how they've done some major teams. So the outperformers, way beyond their expectations, are the West Indies and Zimbabwe. Fantastic opening to the tournament. They could not have asked something better. It surprised all of us, pleasantly surprised. The teams that were expected to perform as as we expected them pre-tournament are India and South Africa. Topped their groups, no hiccups, and they're going to play the first big Super 8 match, right, in Ahmedabad. So that is something where performance on par. And the underperformers were, of course, Afghanistan, which I and Arya just recently discussed. And the other
Australia.
team was the shocker, yes, as you say, Arya. Australia. Right?
it is shocking, very shocking. I mean, what is your take on it? I could not believe Australia did not make it to
Something you pointed out, right, last time. And I think that was the critical.
inexperienced players.
Inexperienced players, omitting Steve Smith.
Correct.
And you need a captain of stature. All right, you need a captain of stature. Mitch Marsh is a great guy. Of course, he was injured in a couple of matches. He's played well. Yesterday also, he really scored. They call him the Bison because he's beefy and strong and, made for T20 cricket. But, I was watching that match with Sri Lanka that they played. And it was so insipid when they were bowling. I don't think a Steve Waugh, a Ricky Ponting, a Michael Clark, they would have done something different. So when you're a captain, it's not only about your performance. Do something out of the box, man. Like Sri Lanka, it's not even, one of the top teams, contenders for this thing. They outclassed them in that match.
Correct.
And I think it boils down to the fact that I don't think he's captaincy material. You need a captain of stature, and I will tell you about captains. These captains who make the difference. When I talk to you about Zimbabwe, when I talk to you about West Indies, I'm not Surya Kumar Yadav, great batsman, but I think his captaincy. But I think it's a team led by Gautam Gambhir. I know it's a controversial statement I'm making, but Gautam Gambhir is the man behind the team. Rather, he's not that strong captain over there. But that Indian team is star-studded, so they do well. But sometimes you need that captain who thinks out of the box when things are not going for him, and that's what happened for Australia. I think they were just rudimentary. They were just going through the process. And the captain, when he had to step in and do something different, he could not. Otherwise, I think the way they played yesterday, they made a statement. Because if they are going to play Zimbabwe 10 times, they'll beat them 9 times. It was a bad day. They could have done differently. But I was more shocked by their loss to Sri Lanka. It was just insipid in the field.
Sri Lanka played really well, by the way.
Just that match.
Just that match?
After that, they lost to Zimbabwe.
Yeah, Zimbabwe.
So, see, I don't rate Sri Lanka very well. It's not the Sri Lanka of the old days, right? They've lost to England series coming into this tournament. I told you they lost a warm-up to Oman. They've done well against the associate nations. Australia had a bad tournament, so they got it easy. But their loss to Zimbabwe was tough. And the group they are in now, some people thought as hosts they would make it to the semi-finals. I have a different opinion. When we get to probables of semi-final, I will tell you why.
What about the New Zealand and South Africa match?
Yeah. And if you want a curtain raiser of how the Super 8s are going to be, it is that match. Very, very critical moment in that match. New Zealand were going all guns, okay, and would have scored 200 batting first. At 5 wickets down, their captain Mitch Santner walks in, okay. He fails to get off the mark, puts pressure. I think it was Daryl Mitchell on the other end. He was firing all cylinders, put pressure on him. He threw his wicket, and suddenly they fell below 200. And that changed the complexion of the match completely. I'm not saying that, there's a whole innings left and South Africa has to score. But if they had scored that 200 plus runs, and if Mitch Santner had just taken a strike off that, one of those deliveries had gone off to the non-striker end, and I'm sure New Zealand would have crossed 200 runs, and then the South African chase would have been completely different. It would have not been a one-sided game as it was. But so today's match, as we are recording, these things will come to the audience at a different day.
New Zealand, Pakistan match
today. So today it's a big match. I really want to see how New Zealand is doing, because New Zealand has been doing fantastically well against Pakistan recently. So they are the favorites on paper. So I think that one match was an aberration with South Africa, but but I'm glad you raised it, because those are the close matches, those close moments that will come up at the Super 8 stage where the teams are more equitable and match each other.
So another thing that is going on about pre-seeding that you talked about in the last podcast.
Yes.
Now in Group A, all the 4 big major teams, the ones who have won all the matches, the big matches, India, South Africa, West Indies and Zimbabwe are in one group. And the other group, the pre-seeding is always there. So all the top teams are in pre-seeding Group A.
मेरे जैसे critics का मुंह बंद हो जाता है यार. ICC के साथ भगवान है. वो ऑस्ट्रेलिया बाहर नहीं होता था, then it would have created a little bit of heartburn and this thing if something would have happened. Now it's like the Indian group is a little more easier. It's only India and South Africa. Of course, West Indies and Zimbabwe are the flavor. They are the top performers. We just analyze them. But at the Super 8 stages, it's going to be a different tournament. I think unless India and South Africa are under par, I don't see. I think that group is little. The other group has become little more competitive.
Correct.
Though we were expecting those teams, but just because there is no Australia here now, ICC is saved, and I'm shut.
Another, I was watching one of the podcast. It's called The Overlap Cricket,
Yeah.
and all big names, legendary people
Yes.
sitting there and talking about how to beat India, just because you're not biased. So, how
Who
would you
told you
beat?
I'm not biased to the British? I do watch that show.
I mean, you're not biased to India
Yeah,
at
I saw
least.
the producer, giving a comb, the coat comb to Michael Vaughan. I keep telling my producer to do that. She gave me one back.
So
I
how
love
to
the show though, but
yeah, it is amazing. So
I'm a
they
little
were
bit of an Anglophile, I'll tell you. But those British are, I don't know, they are.
it was a thorough discussion. It was
Yes,
a
yes.
long
No,
discussion
they
on
do
how
discuss.
to. It is a serious thing as India is
Yeah,
top
it's a
favorite.
great podcast.
Yeah, and India is top favorite. So they were discussing how to go about. I mean, what to do against India to have a competition. So what do you think?
I think
Chasing is
India's biggest challenge is going to be South Africa. It's not going to be an easy match unless India does something differently. All right. Uh, the advantage to South Africa is something that even Pakistan has. They have a base now. They've played most of their matches in Ahmedabad, so it's almost their station there. They are like the home team there. I'm not saying the Indians don't know Ahmedabad, but pre-tournament and throughout the opening rounds, you know, the South Africans have been based out of Ahmedabad. So they are comfortable. India is doing the traveling. Similarly, Pakistan is in Columbus. They've been there. They have the base. And so they'll know the conditions well. Expect South Africa. And South Africa has some real quality batsmen. The guy to watch out is Varun Chakravarti. There are questions. India, there are 2-3 questions that are coming up about India. One is we have too many left-handers.
Correct.
They're saying every off spinner is going to trouble us. I don't think that's going to be the case. And if that's the case, then we don't deserve.
it is work. I mean, it is a case for Abhishek Sharma. He's
No, Abhishek is there, but because Erasmus of Namibia did well against us. Tariq did well against us. The Pakistani spinners did well against us, and so it is expected. But these are world beaters. They will come back. It's a new day. If they can't conquer off spin, they don't deserve to be there in the team. So these are analysis. People also have to give out reports. I don't think it's if it happens and India loses, and then they don't deserve to win. So it's not something that you change a team just because you have left-handers, and these left-handers are world-class left-handers.
Correct,
Means
correct.
you're not going to say Abhishek Sharma is a left-hander, that's why he can't play an off-spinner. Yes, it can. An off-spinner can be used against him as a tactic, but it's his job to overcome it. I don't see any reason why. We have about, I think, 6 or 7 left-handers in our lineup, right? But that's okay.
for other teams.
But the two critical guys are Varun Chakravarti. And that's the problem in India. We always hero worship a batsman. We don't hero worship our bowlers enough. If Varun Chakravarti is not doing his job, then India would have been in trouble even in the last match against Netherlands.
True.
Correct? Look at the consistency with which he's picking up wickets across matches.
Great bowler.
Yes, such an underrated bowler. And I was little skeptical about Bumrah pre-tournament, but Bumrah just knows when to step it up. If you remember, I told you the batsman to watch out for is Siam, from Pakistan.
Right.
Siam Ayub, right? And just see that wonderful Yorker coming in, and he took Siam Ayub early in the match, and that's Bumrah, right?
Yeah,
He
right.
knows when to step it up. Suddenly you feel even associate nations are playing him. Will Bumrah perform? Is he over the hill now? And he knows. I think he knows his game, so he's a master at it.
I feel we have a lot of match winners in our
Yes,
team. A
yes.
lot of match winners.
Yeah. So what the British are, and they were doing it over breakfast probably.
I don't know, but they were discussing how to
but I have
beat
a lot
India.
of time for them. I like them.
Yeah. So when you were talking about bowlers, I have a small game for you. Just like last time we played.
Yeah.
Who's
They're very
the
popular, huh? Very popular. I thought, what is Arya doing all this stuff?
Uh,
We are getting a lot of good feedback for this.
I'm
Say,
great.
uncle, this is what you should have been doing right from day one.
So we'll do the same for bowlers now.
Hmm.
So I have the greatest of bowlers,
Okay.
but not legendary ones. We'll add the legendary ones in some time. But I'll give you
So
two
I have to
players.
pick
Yeah,
one
I'll give you two players.
from a T20 perspective.
From T20 perspective, I'll give you two bowlers. You have to pick one, and by the end of the game, we'll come to know who's the greatest bowler of T20.
Okay.
So let's start with Mitchell Stark or Mohammad Amir.
Oh, at one point of time, Mitchell Stark, the stuff he was doing, even at RCB, you know, Mitchell Stark, just for that longevity.
Stark or I did not expect Dale Steyn to come this. This early, but still, Mitchell Stark or Dale Steyn.
Yeah. Dale Steyn is an all-time great, all-time, but not T20. I've seen him being taken to the cleaners at IPL so many times so I have to choose between Mitchell Stark and Dale Steyn, right?
Yeah, correct.
So it'll be Stark again.
So Stark or Tim Southee.
Interesting. Stark.
Stark or Sunil Narayan.
Maybe Sunil Narayan. Yeah. What he's done, especially the IPL and the T20, this thing, unique bowler, right?
Correct.
He deserves.
And he's a smart one.
I don't
Sunil
know,
Narayan.
he's a different one.
Yeah, different one. So Sunil Narayan or Kagiso Rapada.
Oh, Rabada, not in T20. Like his countryman Steyn, an all-time great. He's not achieved what Steyn has achieved, but he's right up there in terms of talent and but T20 is a different. I have a take on T20. Out and out fast bowlers. Maybe it's not the format for them. And as this game evolves, sorry to digress a little bit, but rugby has it. If you see rugby union and rugby league, these are for a layman it will seem like it's the same sport, but they're extremely different sports. And the kind of personnel you have is completely different. Because there's something called a scrum in rugby, and when you do the scrum, you need these big beefy men up front. But in league, you don't need the scrum. Is not an actual physical tussle between the players getting into it. So there you need lean, fast players.
Correct.
And I think that will eventually happen to cricket too. You will have specialists for T20, ODI and Test, especially white ball and red ball cricket. And I think these out and out great pace bowlers, their value is immense in Test cricket. I don't think their value is as much in T20.
Correct. So
Sorry,
Sunil Narayan or Kagiso Rabada.
I said Narayan. Yeah.
Narayan or Shaheen Shah Afridi.
Shaheen Shah may not.
I put them purposely in
You're sincere. This is not done. You cannot be mean to players. Okay. Of course, Narayan.
Sunil Narayan or Adil Rashid. This is a good one.
Sunil Narayan, Adil Rashid. No, Sunil Narayan in T20 has just done far more. But he achieved great feat for England, I think. 400 wickets. He's playing well. He's playing well.
Yeah.
Adil Rashid is very important if England are to go ahead in this tournament. But Sunil Narayan across T20, across the years is far greater.
Correct. Sunil Narayan or Yuzi Chahal?
Tough one. I have a lot of time for Yuzi Chahal. Except for what nonsense he does on that social media thing. But maybe that's time. I have to change with times. As you have changed me on the podcast with times.
You've changed me
too. Do you like Yuzi?
Not
He's a good cricketer.
He's good. He's a smart one as well.
No. He's a good cricketer. He's a very good leg spinner. He has lot. He may not be making it to the Indian team, but he has a lot to offer in the IPL, and that's why his price in the IPL is as high as it is. But I'll take Sunil Narayan.
Sunil Narayan or Lasith Malinga.
Oh, tough one. That's a tough one. You can't put that. He'll make it to the all-time. But Lasith, I think, just because Sunil's action has been questioned once or twice, and just for that reason, he's not as effective as but Lassit on his day in his time. Lassit will make it to any, and I'll tell you why when I give you my prognosis of bowlers in T20 as compared to batsmen. You asked me something about evolution of
Correct.
T20, and last time we broached upon the topic of batsmen.
Correct.
This time I'll tell you after we finish this game as to what happens with
Done.
bowlers. Yeah.
Malinga or Bhuvneshwar Kumar? Bhuvi is my favorite, by the way.
Oh, good choice. I have a lot of time for him too. He was very good at one point of time. But just Lassit Malinga's exploits and
Correct,
his
correct.
performance over the years. You and I can be biased. You especially with that T-shirt.
Correct. Correct.
You know
By
what?
the way,
I'm wearing Shiv Naren. This is the India Khelo India.
oh, nice.
Yes. Modi ji, see.
So Lassit Malinga or Imran Tahir?
Huh?
Imran Tahir or Lassit Malinga?
Lassit.
Lassit Malinga or Rashid Khan?
Lassit.
Lassit Malinga or Jasprit Bumrah?
Guru Shishya. But the Shishya has gone ahead, right?
But their actions are different.
Yes, no, but they were at Mumbai Indians together.
Correct.
And,
and bowling coaches.
Lassit Malinga has played a very critical role
Correct.
in shaping up, and that's
Mumbai
the beauty
Indians.
of IPL.
Correct.
In his formative years, what Lassit did with Jasprit Bumrah, I think he will himself acknowledge. But the Shishya has gone ahead.
So Bumrah or Trent Bolt?
No, Bumrah. Trent is great, but he needs support from the pitch and conditions and all that swing, etc. But Bumrah.
Correct. So Bumrah wins this thing.
Yes.
But I have few more legendary players,
Excellent.
legendary bowlers.
Excellent. I'm glad you brought this up. You're getting better at this. By
If
the
they
day.
were playing in today's time, so let's go with Bumrah, Jasprit Bumrah or Wasim Akram.
So before I answer that, can I just tell you something? Last time there was this shocker. People asked us about batsmen, and I told you Tendulkar and Kohli will not make it to a T20 in the evolved format. Similarly, bowling has also evolved, right? But I feel as far as bowlers is concerned, there's a little difference. Certain bowlers who were greats also with Test cricket and one-day cricket, those days they used to not differentiate them too much. But I think some great bowlers like say Wasim Akram, Glenn McGrath, Curtly Ambrose,
Correct.
Lassit Malinga, who we took up, Shane Warne, of course. Claire Mushtaq, I don't know because rules have changed and you can't bowl the dusra. That has taken the off spinner out completely. Till now, Usman Tariq is doing something different. But these guys would make it to any T20 team today. Like I think they would be big sellers in IPL. So for bowlers, it's a little different from the batsmen. I think bowling is not, or you don't get those, or these were once in a generation bowlers who were so very good at the one day game.
Wasim Akram, McGrath.
So while Test cricket has similarly big names like the Waqar Yunuses, maybe Jimmy Anderson and all, and I don't think they're as great at the T20. But these guys who I mentioned, they will make it to the T20 team at least for another 3-4 years. As far as the bowling is concerned, it's not evolved as much, so that these guys become outdated.
True.
So yes, your game.
So Jasprit Bumrah wins, but still you have to. I would have
some
given
legendary
you
bowlers.
legendary
That's why
bowlers
I
also.
stopped.
So Jasprit Bumrah or Wasim Akram?
Can't we have both? No.
No.
It will be like Akhanda Bharat.
So you can do one thing.
Akhanda Bharat करना
You can do one thing. I'll give you.
क्रिकेट का अखंड भारत करना
Done.
आप मेरे को इग्नोर कर रहे हैं
नहीं
आप पॉलिटिक्स में घुसना नहीं चाहते
नहीं मैं सच में नहीं घुसना चाहता
नहीं oh god you know the great thing about Wasim, even when he's bowling, when he was a KKR bowling coach, sometimes he would bowl to those batsmen and he would still shake them up with his 3-4 this thing. But I don't know, yaar. I'll say Wasim Akram.
So I'll give you all the legendary ones, and you have to pick one.
Okay.
So Wasim Akram or Waqar Yunis?
Oh, Wasim any day.
Wasim Akram or Glenn McGrath?
Very tough. Very tough. Very tough. No. Uh, just
Megrath.
for the
Megrath.
discipline in Australia, maybe McGrath.
Megrath.
But how can you throw out Wasim? But okay, McGrath. I'll go.
Megrath or Shane Warne.
McGrath. Because all conditions, Shane could be dominated by certain
Exactly.
Asian
If
teams.
correct.
McGrath could not. And McGrath would just step up his game against the big boys. You know, the Sachins, the Laras. McGrath would get the better of them for that reason.
So Megrath.
Yes, please.
Megrath or Anil Kumble.
Oh, McGrath.
Megrath or Dale Steyn.
McGrath for T20.
Megrath or Imran Khan.
Oh, McGrath. If
Megrath.
he's chosen over Wasim, then, yeah.
So Megrath or Curtly Ambrose.
Sir Curtly. Sir Curtly.
So
They'll call him Sir Curtly. Do you see that podcast? Well, that British podcast. Because he's
not
been
all
knight-
of them.
he's
I've
got a
not
knighthood
seen
now.
all the videos.
Sir Curtly is now got knighthood. Sir Curtly was brilliant, but Glenn McGrath, I think there's.
So Megrath wins from the legendary ones.
please.
Summing it up,
Yeah.
the real question that I so wanted to ask you:
Yes, please.
who do you see in the semis
Okay.
of T20 World Cup 2026? And if who's winning? If you could say, if you have
Okay.
a favorite,
All right.
who's winning and who's in the semis?
All right. Winning, I won't tell you because it's still maybe you are getting so popular that we may get you before the semi-final once. So
If I do this well.
yeah, you're doing it well. That's right. Producer is winking me from the other end. So, anyways, but as I told you, I'll tell you. Let's go to Group A, the India one. Okay, West Indies, Zimbabwe. They've done everything that was asked of them, right?
True.
But I think India and South Africa are the favorites. They were the favorites along with Australia. There's nothing that can be different. I would closely watch how the West Indies South Africa game goes. I think Zimbabwe maybe found a bit wanting. I don't know if West Indies can produce the consistency across 3 matches.
True.
But I would watch out because West Indies has got some fantastic spin bowlers. Whether they can trouble the South African batsmen, that would be a good match over there. But other than that, I see India and South Africa going through. The great thing is all of them are playing their big matches first. So like today, Pakistan is playing New Zealand.
Right.
And that's going to be a big match, which will define how that group goes. India, South Africa, that will define how it goes. England will play Sri Lanka. Both could not have asked for a better opponent because England has been under par. I'll tell you when we go to Group B. And Sri Lanka has been up and down. They are lucky to be here. These are the big first matches. And Zimbabwe and West Indies, what a fantastic match. If Zimbabwe has a chance, it is against them. So these will be great matches. But from Group A, as I said, India and South Africa. From Group B, I think New Zealand will make through. England, as I said, were solid before, but they have a critical problem. Both their openers are not scoring. Phil Salt and Butler have been undercooked. So
Brooke is coming way down
yeah,
the order.
that's okay. But it's very critical that your opening partnership does well.
True.
Like for us, Ishan is taking the load of
Right.
Abhishek Sharma. But if that had not happened, but here both of them are underperforming.
Correct.
So that makes I had England as a semi-finalist. If you remember last time we spoke. So I see New Zealand going through. They are a very strong team there. I don't think Sri Lanka, though home advantage and spinning conditions and all, but if they could not make it across Zimbabwe, then they'll have to really raise their game at a Super 8 level. I think, and you're not going to like this, Pakistan is a strong contender to make it to the semi-finals. I hope they put the India monkey behind because that's the monkey that they carry.
Correct.
And they burden their own players and this thing. They've otherwise performed very well, and I'll tell you the reason for that. As the tournament progresses, spin bowling will take precedence. The wickets are going to get slower, and if there is one team, stats is showing it, which has been the best in terms of bowling, spin bowling, it is Pakistan. You know, their frontline bowlers and even people like Siam, Ayub, etc., who did very well against India. Plus the captain also bowled very, very well. They are, you know, it's very different from the earlier Pakistan teams. Almost 16, 17 overs because Shaheen Shah Afridi is not in form. They should be playing Naseem Shah, but I don't know what is going to happen there. Last match they rested him, but I haven't seen Naseem Shah lately, but you know, his quality. If he comes back, that's a different thing. But their spin bowling attack is very, very potent. They have to just know where to play Babar Azam, and you know their batting they have to sort out.
Right.
And because England are not doing well,
I think they should add another batsman to
Yes.
Pakistan cricket.
I think Fakhar Zaman is the guy everyone is talking about. He should be there. But because England is dodgy, New Zealand is solid. And today's match, that's why I'm saying is critical. And Sri Lanka are under par. Pakistan has got the best chance, despite that crushing defeat that they received at the hand of India, to go into the semi-finals.
So
you want to see a India-Pakistan
I
semi-final?
want India-Pakistan in finals.
Semi-final.
Yeah, and India winning.
That India winning is...
India is winning for
They
me.
will again go back to their... You think Mohsin Naqvi will come back this time?
But I really want to see India.
This is a Sunil Gavaskar straight drive, the letter he wrote. Solid, man. The entire Pakistan establishment has shaken up, you know. So
we're going to have a great tournament ahead.
can be. I think a great tournament. Fantastic, Arya. You bring fresh perspective to the podcast. I hope the fans enjoy it.
With the fresh perspective,
Yes.
the fresh thing that you were talking about is the cricketers stock market thing.
Oh yes. I so yes. I have to. So Arya, you and I both are fans of the stock market,
I
right?
am.
You know, capital markets are changing, right?
Right.
Traditional money is changing.
Right.
We are talking about cryptocurrency. We are talking about stuff like AI and these things.
Bot trading and everything.
You know, capital investment in sport happened how? It was either private equity through, you know, a rich family. It's a family-owned business. Like, you know, the Ambani's, the Reliance doesn't own the IPL team, right? The Ambani's own it. Or Vijay Mallya owned it in his personal capacity, right? So that is the kind of money. And across EPL, or even if you take the American NFL or you know, there any major league sport, it is private money that was dominating sport. There is a new trend that is happening in sport, not very recent also, but it's been around.
NFL players
NFL
also.
players, so you know that, right? They are being listed on the stock market, an upcoming player, and you'll say, so how can you list a player? So what they're doing is they are listing a player. They're not listing the player directly. So a company will list a player up. You buy the scripts, right? You and I will go through an IPO and buy the script. They will put a hearing prospectus and tell us as to how what this player is.
Okay.
We decide the price based on what his future earnings are going to be and what is there for us in this. So for us, this thing that whatever money he makes, you are going to, you know, proceeds of his some money earnings will be plowed back into the shares, into the company, which you would be paid as dividends or something like that. And of course, in the secondary market, the prices will fluctuate based on his performance. So, you know, it's a very performance based. Sounds interesting to you?
It is. I think Dream Sports.
Yeah.
There's an application called Sixer.
Oh.
I've not used it.
Yeah.
But I know they've been promoting it. Yeah. Where you can buy and sell
in the
players
virtual, yeah.
buy and sell cricket players as stocks. So I think Sixer is doing Dream Sports is coming up with new things.
I think they need to do this innovation, right? Because now daily fantasy in India, you can't play it with money anymore.
Right.
So people have to do their innovation. You don't know how government policies change, but you know, to create something interesting for people and to get back that fan engagement, I think it's a great idea. So what did you say it was? Sixer
by Dream Sports, Dream 11.
Excellent.
It's the same company, Dream Sports. So
you and I can also work on something. And before the IPL, we can do something. थोड़ा सा मेहनत लगेगा पर you know.
We can.
So after your podcast, I'm doing something with an old colleague of mine, Ronald Chettiar,
Okay.
seasoned guy.
Okay.
He'll give you all the stats and all. Very seasoned sports journalist.
Done.
उससे सारी मेहनत करा लो और
And
अपना गुड चार्म लेके आओ इधर और करते हैं मस्ती.
And if this sixer application works in future,
Yeah.
he will help us with picking up stocks, right?
Yes.
With
First he
his
can
analysis.
sponsor this podcast. So on that note, Arya, thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank
This
you
was a
so much.
pleasure. Great for this. T20 World Cup. I don't think I would have personally done anything with the T20 World Cup. It was not for you. So thank you so much on
Thank
behalf
you.
of me and the Inner Athlete team. Wish you all the best, and hopefully we see you at the IPL. Right? Curtain raiser we've already given out. We'll try and do some kind of a stock
in.
kind of a game for the this thing.
Done. I'm in.
All right.
I'm in.
Yes.
Thank you.
So cheers, guys, and that's it. Arya Khandelwal and me signing off. Semi-finals. Don't hold it against us. India, Pakistan, South Africa, and which was the fourth team New Zealand. So these are the 4 teams that I think will make it to the semi-finals. If our team and editing sits in place, we'll do something before the semi-finals finals. Thank you. God bless. Keep
Thank
the inner
you.
athlete in
Thank
you
you.
alive.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Cheers. India will win, by the way.
Okay, that's for you to say. I don't take that bigger call. I think you are a gambler. Thank you, people. Stay blessed.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.